Everyone, to a brand new box office breakdown show here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Sandberg. Today we're going to break down this past weekend's box office, which was the last weekend in the month of June. We're going to break that down as well as previewing the month of July. We're also going to look at the 2024 domestic and worldwide box offices. We're officially at the halfway mark of 2024. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I talk all things movies, TV shows. I do this show every single week, out of theater reactions and ranking videos. So please subscribe, ring the bell for your channel. Comment down below. What did you see this past weekend with this whole July 4th being on a Thursday and movies coming out in the middle of the week? What is your movie viewing plan over the holiday week? And also, please like the video, the thumbs up button. Also, in the description down below, you can find my social media, but also my Streamlabs account, which you can donate some money to. The YouTube channel goes most of it to me more than it does on here on YouTube. And if you ask a question on there, my next live stream, I will be answering those on the air. So definitely hit that down below. Without further ado, let's get into this past weekend's box office, the last weekend in the month of June. And starting out at number one in its third week is Inside Out 2, still dominating at the box office, only dropping 43% in its third weekend and another 57.5 million, taking Inside Out 2 to 470 million so far domestically. Unbelievable numbers. Inside Out 2 is a massive winner. We're going to get to its that it joined the $1 billion club. It's the biggest movie worldwide, domestic of the year. A huge saving grace for both Disney and Pixar. Just 5 years ago, before the pandemic, Disney would have the majority, 90 to 80% of the $1 billion movies. And Disney has definitely taken a falling off. Star Wars has not been in the theatrical market. Pixar has really struggled in the theatrical market since COVID. Marvel, while they have some winners, most of them have not done well successfully at the box office. And even some Disney animated movies from the animated studio like Wish, Strange World have not done well at the box office. But Disney is back being at top of the box office. And everyone thought their biggest movie of the year would be coming out in July, which I'll get into at the end of the video, where I'll talk about all the movies coming out in the month of July. But Inside Out 2 is a massive win across the board. They already announced a spin-off show, I think, if not coming out later this year, next year. So they're going to keep this baby going. They will finally have some animated family competition in Despicable Me 4 this week. So we'll see how Inside Out 2 continues. But again, it really can only go up from here and in just its 3 weekends. At number 2 is A Quiet Place Day 1 from Paramount. And its opening weekend opens to the biggest number of any of the A Quiet Place films, 52.2 million for A Quiet Place Day 1. Another massive win for Paramount. And also John Krasinski, because after A Quiet Place Part 2, Paramount locked him down into a multi-year contract where basically all of his movies had to be exclusively made through Paramount. That has obviously worked out for his actual directed film, Wish, which obviously grossed over $100 million domestically. And then them still able to do A Quiet Place movies, and Krasinski was a story credit writer and a producer on this movie. So that partnership so far is 2 for 2 post A Quiet Place Part 2. Again, this is the biggest opening of the franchise, which probably means we're going to get more A Quiet Place movies. But again, it will be interesting to see how it holds, because it also has kind of like a horror thriller competition coming this week with Maxine releasing on Friday. So we'll see how A Quiet Place Day 1 holds up. You're seeing both our top movies are going to have competition in the same genres coming out both this week. So we shall see. But A Quiet Place, this franchise is living. This is a really good news also for Lupita Nyong'o and obviously Joseph Quinn, but really Lupita Nyong'o, who is the star of the film. She has not been a bona fide movie star for a lot of people for a while, but while she didn't really get credit for us being a successful box office run due to it being the next Jordan Peele film after Get Out, no doubt about it, with the IP definitely helped, but Lupita definitely helped sell a lot of tickets, and that's a very good sign for her career moving forward. Definitely should be seeing a lot more leading roles in big movies like this moving forward. Another new movie that hit the marketplace this past weekend at number 3 is Horizon, an American Saga. This is released from Warner Brothers Discovery. This is part 1 of a 2-part series. I think they're even filming part 3 right now. Opening to $11 million. Just not great stuff for Horizon. This is actually the negative side now of the box office. Kevin Costner was announced he even put at least 35 to 40 million of his own money into this, and it's just not connecting with audiences. Critics, audiences just don't seem to be vibing with the new Kevin Costner Western. You just don't see many more Westerns anymore. And especially one like this, which is 3 hours long. When you have Inside Out 2 and A Quiet Place Day 1, for example, which are well under 2 hours long. Both are around an hour 40, hour 45 each. I'm not saying that that's what makes a good or bad movie, but when you're going up business-wise with 2 perennial box office hits and your movie is 3 hours long and the other movies are half that time, that's definitely a problem, especially if the word of mouth is not strong. And if a 3-hour movie or even a 2.5+ hour movie does not have strong word of mouth, people will tend to wait to watch that at home than spend 4 hours in a movie theater. So not good. Part 2 is coming out in August. So we'll see how the drops off are, how it does digitally, and will Warner Brothers Discovery and Kevin Costner move it to the next movie to streaming, or will he stay persistent and put it back in theaters? At number 4 in their 4th weekend is Bad Boys Ride or Die from Sony. Only dropping 45% again, $10.3 million, 165.2 domestically. Inside Out 2 has gotten, rightfully so, a lot of credit for bringing people back to the theaters. But I do think that Bad Boys Ride or Die does deserve credit for really being the kickoff to the summer. No real movie in May, maybe other than Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, was the real kickoff this summer. But even with Planet of the Apes, there were so many bad box office performances in the rest of the month of May. It didn't feel like the kickoff to people just rushing back to the movie theaters. And it does feel like Bad Boys Ride or Die did that. One of the best box office wise for the franchise. Obviously, I've already talked about the positive for the movie, but Bad Boys Ride or Die is still doing well. And at number 5, another movie, but this is a Bollywood movie that made its way into the States. Kaliki 2898. So I just want to make sure I'm right. AD. This was a Bollywood film that played in just over 1,000 theaters, and it got into the number 5 slot with 5.2 million this past weekend, which was just over 1.5 million up on the number 6 movie, which was The Bike Riders. So Bollywood movies, we've been seeing this. Anime movies and Bollywood movies have made their way into the United States, and people have wanted to see them. You've seen Bollywood movies and anime films in our top 5 domestic for a weekend. So we're seeing a trend both in the Japanese anime genre and also Bollywood making now an impact in Hollywood. When we go to the overall numbers so far this year domestically, Inside Out 2 is $196 million up on the number 2 movie, which is Dune Part 2. So Inside Out 2 has 478 now, including the Monday showings. Dune Part 2 is at number 2 of 282. Godzilla X Kong at 3 with 196 million domestically. Again, domestically is both US and Canada. Number 4 is Kung Fu Panda 4 of 193.5. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is at number 5 of 168 domestically. Bad Boys Ride or Die rising to number 6 to 166.4. After next weekend, Bad Boys Ride or Die will have even more money than Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes domestically. It'll be in the top 5 domestic for the year. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is at number 7 of 113. If is at number 8 at 110, and those are the 8 movies so far this year with 100 million domestically. I think the animated movie coming out this weekend will definitely be in this club, if not this weekend, the following weekend. Bob Marley, One Love, and Fall Guy wrap up the top 10. Those 2 movies are not in the $100 million club. Now looking at the worldwide numbers, this is box office combining the domestic and the international box office. Inside Out 2 is in the $1 billion club, the first $1 billion movie of 2024, $1,045 for the film, 478 domestic, 567 internationally in just 3 weekends total in the box office. So Inside Out 2 is a juggernaut. It finally will have competition this weekend, but it has already hit the billion-dollar club. It's a win for Disney, Pixar, movie theaters, and Hollywood, honestly, at this point. Dune Part 2 is number 2 with 710 million. Big news this week with Dune Part 3, Dune Messiah, being announced that it will come out December of 2026. So they are Warner Brothers and are very pumped about the next Denis Villeneuve film, and they wanted it to be Dune 3, and that is what will be happening. So Warner Brothers are going to be very happy about the progression of the Dune franchise. Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire is number 3, 569 worldwide. Kung Fu Panda 4 is a number 4 worldwide as well, 545 million. A Chinese film is 5 and 6. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is up to 391 million worldwide. A Chinese film is at 9 and 10. And at number 9 worldwide is Bad Boys Ride or Die, 333 million. But again, the big difference between Planet of the Apes 2 and Bad Boys is 7% less of Apes' box office came from domestic. Apes did much better than Bad Boys internationally, and that's why it's much higher on the chart. So as we do, because it's the beginning of the month, we like to preview all of the new movies that are hitting theaters in the month of July. So with this being July 4th, as on a Thursday, the July movie season, which I think is the most packed movie month of the entire year, starts tomorrow on Wednesday, July 3rd, with the release of Despicable Me 4. This is a big franchise for Universal and Illumination. The last Despicable Me movie came out in 2017. Despicable Me 3 made $1 billion. Minions, the first film, made $1 billion. And then 2 years ago, The Rise of Gru, Minions 2, made 920 million worldwide. So this is a money franchise that either hits $1 billion or gets near $1 billion. We'll see. It does hit theaters exclusively on Wednesday. Coming out on Friday, July 5th, you have A24's Maxine, the end of the Mia Goth, Ty West trilogy for A24. The previous 2 films were definitely much indie films that came out in 2022, but now Maxine got a much bigger budget, much bigger cast, and we'll see if that growing fan base over the last 2 years will support the new film hitting theaters on Friday. Coming out next week, July 12th, you have 2 films. You have Fly Me to the Moon. This is the new film starring Channing Tatum and Scarlett Johansson. And you also have Long Legs, getting rave reviews, the new horror film starring Micah Monroe and Nicolas Cage. The following week is July 19th, and that is the release of Twisters. Obviously, the next step in the Twisters franchise, Glenn Powell, his first major leading role since Anyone But You in theaters. That hits theaters July 19th. And then the biggest movie people think of the month of July, and it's a big test for Hollywood and the MCU, Deadpool and Wolverine close out the month on July 26th. So some big movies hitting theaters this weekend and for the rest of the month of July. So a lot of videos coming to the channel, and I'll see you guys soon.